Reactorama with FordOhhFord.
Man, ooh, am I excited to react to this video. What's happening? Welcome to Reactorama. It's your boy FordOhhFord from the 404. My favorite era of basketball. There's finally a video. Shout out to Nonstop Sports for the video. We talking about the real golden age of the NBA. The 2000s. The best decade in the NBA, bro. I don't want to hear no complaining. I don't want to hear no arguing. This is the real golden age. And to me, the best age of the NBA. I stand on that, bro. I stand on that. A couple videos ago, I was saying, look here, bro. I started learning about more NBA stuff during this era of basketball. So the child version of myself is jumping for joy right now. I'm super excited for this video. Not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna quit yapping and we're gonna get straight into this video because it's clearly an hour-long video. I don't want to make the reaction even longer. You feel me? Let's get to reacting, shall we?
After The Last Dance and Michael Jordan's retirement, the NBA started losing money. But new heroes quickly emerged, and the league became more popular than ever.
Vince, Wade, Bron, Kobe.
The 2000s were one of the most iconic decades in NBA history, with some of the most legendary moments ever, like the greatest dunk contest performance of all time.
Ever. Come on, BC.
Or the greatest heat check of all time.
T-Mac. K.
The biggest fight in NBA history.
Malice in the Palace.
And the greatest press conference of all time.
Practice.
We also saw the greatest televised
Kobe.
scoring game ever.
81.
The assembly of the first modern
Big three,
super team
yeah.
and a high degree of tactical versatility from the ultra-defensive high-octane offense of the 7 seconds or less.
Yes.
Dominant big men ever. The greatest power forward ever.
Yes.
The best small forward and some of the best shooting guards of all time played in the 2000s.
Facts.
Together with some of the most iconic jerseys, the rise of
Facts.
basketball TV shows,
Facts.
and the birth of social media, the 2000s were an amazing decade where that old school fighter mentality from the 90s met PlayStations, iPhones, and some of the baggiest clothing in human history. This is the full recap of the 2000s.
Yeah.
From the 2000 NBA season until 2009.
Woo.
After the San Antonio Spurs won the 1999 title, the NBA had a wild offseason. However, the biggest news wasn't a player, but a coach who already had 6 championships. Phil Jackson decided to swap fishing in Montana for the most stressful job on the planet.
Yep, coaching the Lakers.
Los Angeles Lakers, where he had to deal with the hotheads of Shaq and Kobe. The legendary Chuck Daly resigned from the Magic job, and in his place came another future Hall of Fame coach, Doc Rivers. Mark Cuban bought the Dallas Mavericks for $285 million.
Damn, okay.
The Lakers and the Clippers moved to the Staples Center, while the Boston Celtics removed their legendary parquet floor after 54 years.
Dang. All right, I know a lot of that. I didn't know about the Celtics or Mark Cuban buying the Mavericks in the 99-2000s offseason. That's crazy. But keep it rocking.
Penny Hardaway left the Magic after 6 years and joined the Suns.
Yes, I remember that.
Signed with the Pacers.
Yep.
While Scottie Pippen joined the Portland Trailblazers. Elton Brand was the first overall pick in the draft, followed by 2 point guards, Steve Francis and Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Lamar Odom, Richard Hamilton, Andre Miller, Sean Marion, Jason Terry, Ron Artest, and Andrei Kirilenko were also selected in the first round.
Yeah.
But in such a deep draft class, with 9 players becoming all-stars, the best player selected was the 57th pick.
Manu.
The San Antonio Spurs select Emmanuel Ginobili from Argentina.
However, before the season started, the NBA family suffered a tremendous loss after Wilt Chamberlain died of a heart attack on October 12th, 1999.
I remember
Chamberlain's death wouldn't be the only tragedy. On January 12th, Bobby Phills of the Charlotte Hornets was killed as a result of reckless driving while racing against teammate David Wesley, after which the Hornets
I remember that
retired Phil's number.
too. I remember David Wesley was saying that story. I forgot about that. That's crazy.
On May 20th,
Rest in peace.
Another car accident shook the NBA world.
Sheesh.
As Malik Sealy lost
Yes.
his life after a drunk driver hit his car.
Yes, I remember KG talking about this and Sam Mitchell, who was on the far right. Bro, rest in peace to these guys. This was a crazy time to start the new millennium and a new era of basketball, the new decade, etc., bro. This was crazy.
When Sealy was returning home from Kevin Garnett's birthday party.
See?
NBA veteran Malik Sealy died as a result of a head-on car collision in suburban Minneapolis.
However, when the season finally started, Phil Jackson, Tex Winter, and their triangle offense did wonders for the Lakers.
Yes,
who
it
at
did.
one point had a 19-game win streak, the fourth longest win streak ever at the time. The Lakers finished their first season in the Staples Centers with 67 wins, the 8th best result ever at the time, with Shaquille O'Neal being one vote shy of becoming the first unanimous MVP.
Whoa. Who was the
Time, with Shaquille O'Neal being one vote.
Allen Iverson? I can't hate that one vote for Allen Iverson. I can't hate that, bro. I thought it was going to be like Alonzo Mourning or Karl Malone, but I can't hate Allen Iverson. I know Shaq mad because he could have been the first unanimous MVP, but that's Steph Curry in another era and another decade.
Shy of becoming the first unanimous MVP in NBA history.
For
I
real.
actually would have made history, but some idiot in Atlanta, I wish I could say his name because I would call him an idiot to his face. He messed up history. I would have been the first ever unanimous decision MVP.
For real.
This idiot, forgot his name.
Fred Hickman.
Yeah, Fred Hickman, idiot.
Elton Brand and Steve Francis shared the Rookie of the Year award,
Yeah.
which was the third and the last time that the NBA had co-Rookies of the Year, while Tim Duncan and Shaq became the third co-winners of the All-Star Game.
I remember
MVP.
Tim was not
However,
happy about
the
that.
biggest story of the All-Star weekend was the dunk contest.
Yes.
After a 2-year absence, the dunk contest returned with a bang when Vince Carter destroyed the rims with some of the most memorable dunks of all time.
Over. It's over.
Alonzo Mourning won his second consecutive Defensive Player of the Year award
Yeah.
after averaging
Give me
3.7
that.
blocks per game. Jalen Rose was the most improved player,
Yeah.
while Doc Rivers won the Coach of the Year award.
I got like frog. I was just playing, bro. But Doc Rivers is one of the greatest coaches, but man, some of his coaching styles are ridiculous. I'll be real.
Thus becoming the first and only head coach to win the award while not making the playoffs.
This man messed up Tim Duncan going to Orlando. All because family cannot fly on a team plane. Crazy. Keep it rocking.
And after 16 years in the NBA, Charles Barkley
Retired,
missing
yeah.
the majority of the season due to a quad
Yeah.
injury, and only returning for the last game of the season to grab one final rebound. Dennis Rodman also retired after playing 12 games for the Mavericks, and so did Kevin Johnson, Jeff Hornacek, and Rick Smits. When the
Okay.
playoffs started, the Lakers justified the role of title favorites in the first 2 rounds, but in the conference finals, the Blazers proved to be their toughest opponent.
Yeah,
Despite leading the
Scotty.
series 3-1, Portland bounced back and forced a Game 7, where
Yeah.
they jumped on the Lakers' throat, leading by 15 with 10 minutes left. But then the Lakers rallied and completed one of the biggest comebacks ever, securing the win with arguably the most famous alley-oop of all time.
Yes. That is arguably the most famous, probably the most famous alley-oop of all time.
Alley-oop of all time. In the East, the Knicks and the Heat continued their bitter rivalry,
Yep.
meeting in the playoffs for the 4th straight season. In
Yeah.
an extremely competitive series, where all games were decided by 8 points or less, the Knicks ultimately prevailed, winning the last 2 games by a combined 3 points, defeating Miami in 7 games.
Damn.
However, in the conference finals, Reggie Miller once again proved why they call him a Knick killer, leading Indiana past New York in 6 games. In the
Yeah.
finals, the Lakers won the first 2 games at home, but when the series moved to Indiana, it looked like the Pacers would tie the finals after Shaq fouled out late in Game 4. Then Kobe took over, hitting 4 of 5 shots in overtime, including a game-winning layup.
Followed in by Kobe Bryant.
And even though Indiana won Game 5 in a blowout, they couldn't stop the Shaq attack, as O'Neal led the Lakers to another championship in 6 games.
Yeah.
Averaging 38 points and 16.7 rebounds per game, Shaq crowned one of the most dominant seasons ever with the Finals MVP.
For real, bro. This was Shaq in his prime, bro. Superman, for real. That's why they called him that, the Man of Steel. No cap.
Following that finals loss, Larry Bird retired from coaching, and Isaiah Thomas succeeded him on the Pacers bench for the 2001 season. Rick Pitino resigned as the coach and team president of the Celtics after a disastrous 3 years, but the biggest change wasn't really basketball related. After the Fab Five famously rocked the long shorts in the early 90s, the NBA finally allowed players to wear shorts below the knee, even though some players like John Stockton stuck with the shorter ones. And nobody knew it at the time, but the 2000 NBA draft proved to be by far the weakest draft class in NBA history, with only 3 players making the All-Star team, and each accomplishing it only once. In such a weak class, Mike Miller won the Rookie of the Year after averaging 11.9 points per game, which was the 3rd lowest scoring average ever for a Rookie of the Year. Dikembe Mutombo won his 4th and final Defensive Player of the Year.
Rest in peace.
Was named the most improved player, while Allen Iverson won the MVP after averaging at least 31 points per game. Iverson also won the MVP of the All-Star game after leading the East to a 21-point comeback in the 4th quarter.
I ain't gonna lie, 2001, every NBA player should remember 2001 as Allen Iverson's year, even though they did not win the finals. That is definitely Allen Iverson's year, bro. No cap. That was his year, bro.
The East comes from 21 down.
In the best season of his career, AI also led the NBA in steals. Jason Kidd was the assist leader for the 3rd straight year, while Antoine Walker made the most threes, with 221 makes from deep. And if you think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander attempts a lot of free throws, Shaq attempted 13.1 freebies per game, even though he probably could have averaged 20, considering how many fouls on him the refs did. Shaq's 972 attempts from the charity stripe was the 8th highest mark in NBA history, and the most since Jordan attempted exactly the same number of free throws in the 1987 season. The Sixers and the Spurs won their respective conferences in what was the last time a team with the best regular season did not win 60 or more games in a full 82-game season until 2023. In the playoffs, the Lakers were unstoppable, not losing a single game on their way to the NBA Finals. But in the East, it was much more competitive. The Raptors won their first playoff series in franchise history, and their second-round matchup against the Sixers provided one of the most fun scoring duels of the century.
For real,
Iverson dropped 54 points in Game 2,
Fires and hits.
to which Vince Carter responded with a 50 in Game 3. In Game 5, AI eclipsed 50 again, scoring 52 points to give the Sixers a 3-2 series lead. However, in the following game, Vince Carter finished with 39 to force a Game 7. But then, he made one of the most controversial decisions of his career.
Boom. He said it. And I knew it was going to come too. But anyways, bro, if he didn't make this controversial decision, maybe Toronto would have went on to the East Finals. Maybe. I'll let him explain.
It's already been a busy day for Toronto's Vince Carter. Vince arrived in Chapel Hill at about 9 a.m. to attend his college graduation ceremonies.
On the day of the deciding game, Carter attended a graduation ceremony in North Carolina. He took 2 flights that day and came to Game 7 exhausted, shooting just 6 for 18 from the field, including a long jumper at the buzzer, which missed the target. The Sixers won 88-87 and advanced to the conference finals against the mighty Bucks team with Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Glenn Big Dog Robinson.
Big dog. My dog, Big Dog. Yes, sir. But nah, I mean, it's cool to go to your graduation, right? But like, graduation versus Game 7, your season is on the line, do or die, and you rather go be with your graduates. Bro, if y'all don't send me that damn diploma, please and thank you, so I could, survive my season and go on to the next matchup, please and thank you, I would greatly appreciate that. Like, that's a no-brainer, Vince. But hey, you made your decision, Playboy.
Battling multiple injuries, Iverson missed Game 3,
Yo,
averaging just 31% from the field and 26% for 3 across the first 6 games of the series. But then, in Game 7, AI went berserk, making 17 for 33 shots en route to 44 points, leading the Sixers to victory and their first berth to the NBA Finals since the legendary Fo title in 1983. But against the Lakers, nobody gave them much of a chance.
The Los Angeles Lakers could become the first team in history to run the table in the playoffs, and now they come in a favorite against Philadelphia.
And yet, if there was one person with the ultimate belief in himself and the game to match it, it was Allen Iverson. The league MVP MVP played one of the best games in
Excuse me.
NBA Finals history, finishing with 48 points, including the most legendary step-over of all time. It was the 6th best scoring performance in the finals ever at the time. But unfortunately for Iverson, Shaq was a monster. Even though they had the Defensive Player of the Year in Dikembe Mutombo, nobody in the world could guard O'Neal, who averaged 33 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3.4 blocks per game in the series, shooting 57% from the field.
Look at that. The ball hit the Dikembe Mutombo. Look at his face, though. Look at that Mutombo face. Like, there was no stopping this 300-pound muscle machine, bro. Especially during this time. There was nobody that could stop this dude.
5 assists and 3.4 blocks per game in the series, shooting 57%
Boom.
from the field.
I gotta see it one more time.
Per game in the series.
I'm gonna slow it down.
Shooting 57%.
Boom! Alright, let me stop playing with Dikembe, man. Rest in peace, Dikembe Mutombo. But damn.
The field. Kobe added 24 points per game.
Kobe!
The Lakers won the series in 5 games. Shaq was deservedly the finals MVP, and the Lakers' 15-1 record in the finals.
The best record ever in the history of the NBA playoffs.
And before the 2001-2002 season started, the biggest superstar in NBA history announced another return to the NBA.
Speculation has ended. Rumors confirmed. The greatest player of all time is back.
Michael Jordan was back again, this time with the Wizards, a team where he was also a part owner. Michael's most famous decision as an executive took place on June 27, 2001, when he selected Kwame Brown with the first pick.
The pick that he still regrets and is pissed off at to this very day.
Brown became the first high school player to get drafted first overall. Future Hall of Famers Pau Gasol and Tony Parker were also picked in the 2001 draft, along with Gilbert Arenas, Joe Johnson, Tyson Chandler, Zach Randolph, Richard Jefferson, Gerald Wallace, and last but not least, the legendary White Mamba, Brian Scalabrine. Canada lost one team as the Grizzlies relocated from Vancouver to Memphis.
Well, the team's been in the league 6 years, and in that time, the Vancouver Grizzlies won 98 games. They lost another 352. A disappointing run for Canada's second NBA franchise. So an announcement today that it's applied to move to an American city comes as no surprise.
But the most monumental changes were those in the rule book. The zone defense was legalized for the first time, which didn't sit well with players who found scoring more difficult, especially great isolation players like Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, and Michael Jordan. MJ openly admitted that he wouldn't be as successful if the zone was legal in the 90s. Also, the league introduced the defensive 3-second violation, which prohibited players from spending more than 3 seconds in the paint without actively guarding another player. The 2002 season marked the last time the NBA playoffs used a best-of-5 series in the first round and switched to a best-of-7 format in all rounds. When the season started, all NBA teams wore patches on their jerseys with the American flag and a red, white, and blue ribbon in honor of the victims of the September 11th attacks.
That's real.
The Eastern Conference was weaker than ever, with only 2 teams winning 50 games. Jason Kidd, who got traded from Phoenix to New Jersey in a blockbuster trade with Stephon Marbury, led the Nets to 52 wins, which was enough to secure the best record in the East. Michael Jordan wasn't Mr. Air anymore, as it was clear that his banged-up knees couldn't elevate him up over opponents as they did in the 90s. Still, MJ averaged 22.9 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game.
That boy Kobe said, "Give me them."
Clear that his banged-up knees couldn't elevate him up over opponents as they did in the 90s. Still, MJ averaged 22.9 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 5.2 assists per game.
That's still good, though, at his age, bro. Like, just envision LeBron, what LeBron's doing right now. Like 25-5. Bron is doing that. That's still good. He's doing it at 40 today. That's still good.
As a 39-year-old, but his Wizards sucked. Washington won just 37 games and missed the playoffs, with Kwame Brown averaging a measly 4.5 points per game, while shooting 39% from the field as a center. The Bucks, after nearly advancing to the finals the previous year, had a strong start to the season, but after losing 16 out of their last 22 games, they missed the playoffs entirely, in one of the biggest late-season collapses ever. In the West, the Sacramento Kings played the fastest and best offensive basketball in the entire NBA, with the best record in their conference.
Yes.
Allen Iverson led the league in scoring for the third time. He was also the steals leader, while Ben Wallace led the NBA in blocks and rebounds, which secured him the
Defensive Player of the Year award to our own
4 times.
Tim Duncan won his first MVP award in front of Jason Kidd and Shaquille O'Neal. Rick Carlisle of the Detroit Pistons won the Coach of the Year award, while Pau Gasol won the Rookie of the Year in a landslide over Richard Jefferson. Kobe was the MVP.
That boy had a post on too. Come on, KG. Who's number 20? I forget. But get in that poster.
A landslide over Richard Jefferson. Kobe was the MVP of the All-Star game, after which he got booed by the Philadelphia crowd, his hometown fans.
I find it unbelievable that the fans are booing you here. Does that hurt your feelings?
Yeah, my feelings are hurting, man. I mean, I'm just out there trying to play and have a good time, and yeah, my feelings are hurt being from Philadelphia.
When the playoffs started, the Sixers lost in the first round to Paul Pierce and the Celtics.
I don't know what that was all about, too. I don't know if it was because, you know, they just beat them in the finals the previous year, but, like, for what, though? Stop being a hater.
And in the press conference after the series, Allen Iverson said practice 22 times.
But we talking about practice, man.
Hold on. My bad.
Started, the Sixers lost in the first round to Paul Pierce and the Celtics.
Yeah.
In the press conference after the series, Allen Iverson said practice 22 times.
But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice?
Not a game.
We talking about practice, man. We talking about practice. We talking about practice. We ain't talking about the game. We're talking about practice, man.
The Celtics would make the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1988. And in Game 3 of the series against the Nets, Boston pulled off the biggest playoff comeback ever at the time, winning 94-90 after trailing by as much as 21 prior to the fourth quarter. However, the Celtics eventually lost in 6 games, with the Nets making the finals for the first time since the ABA days.
I ain't gonna lie. Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin was a duo that was unmatched, bro. Like, that lob threat was crazy. That birthed Steve Nash and Stoudemire. And another decade later, Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. So on and so forth. You feel me?
And the first after they relocated to New Jersey in 1977. In the West, the Kings and the Lakers proved that they were the best teams in the NBA, easily making the conference finals, which would become one of the most controversial of all time. Led by 2 All-Stars in
one
Chris
of
Webber
the
and
most
Peja Stojakovic, the
cash,
the fastest pace in the league, and they had 7 players scoring in double figures. So it wasn't a surprise when they took a 2-1 series lead, annihilating the Lakers in Game 3. LA seemed to be in trouble, especially after falling behind 24 points in the second quarter of Game
That's a travel, by the way.
3. LA seemed to be in trouble.
Look at Chris Webber feet right here.
Especially after falling behind 24 points.
No.
However,
My bad.
The Kings' lead started to dwindle, and with 11 seconds to go, they were only up by 2. After which, Robert Horry made the most famous shot of his career.
Yes. Okay.
In Game 6, despite a heroic effort from Shaq and Kobe, who combined for 72 points, the Kings were still a better team, and they should have won the game and advanced to the finals.
For real.
They didn't, because the Lakers played with 3 extra guys in gray. In the fourth quarter, the Lakers shot 27 free throws.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Kings. The worst call was in the final seconds, with the Lakers up by 1.
Look at this.
When Kobe elbowed Mike Bibby in the face.
Now, we talked about this extensively. Is that the word? Like, more in depth, right? We talked about this particular series in our worst ejections video, bro. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. But, oh boy, that really raised my blood pressure that nobody caught that. Like, I understand y'all were losing ratings, but the Kings are a better team. Let it rock. It is what it is, though.
With the bleeding Bibby called for the foul, LA won the game, which is still considered the biggest robbery of all time. And in Game 7, the Lakers survived again, winning the game in overtime to advance to their 3rd straight NBA Finals. And in the championship round against the Nets, it was pretty underwhelming.
Kobe dribbled right.
Yeah.
Kobe.
Oh my God.
The Nets were
Keith Van Horn, watch your head.
but they couldn't do anything against Shaq.
Tom McCullough, watch your head.
And his dominance was perfectly described with arguably the best poster picture of all time.
Yeah.
The Lakers swept them. Perfectly described with arguably the best poster picture of all.
Yeah. You got the whole starting five in this one picture, bro. Like, if Shaq doesn't have this framed in his house, we have a fucking problem. This is the best poster I've ever seen, bro. Everybody just cooling. Look at Phil Jackson and the coach. Everybody on the bench. They like, oh, this is regular. But this was like, they just witnessing it real time. Once Shaq finishes the dunk and is running back playing defense, they like, oh, fuck, what did we just witness? You feel me?
All time. The Lakers swept the Nets to secure a three-peat, with
Of course.
O'Neal winning his third straight Finals MVP.
Of course.
Following the season, two legendary big men retired wearing strange jerseys. Hakeem Olajuwon called it quits after playing his last year with the Raptors, and Patrick Ewing decided to hang him up too, after he played his last two seasons in Seattle and Orlando. In the 2003 season, the Hornets relocated from Charlotte to New Orleans. Reebok became an official apparel partner for the NBA. And after a 12-year run and the most recognizable jingle in sports, NBC's coverage of the NBA ended. NBC was outbid for the broadcast television contract by Disney.
This was back in 2002, 2003. Here we are, 2025, 2026, and they going right back to where they was missing their lovely jingle. I mean, I get it. That's a whole era before mine. I get it. It is a familiar jingle. It's very catchy, not catching. But anyways, real ones know about NBA on TNT, bro. We gonna miss that jingle more than we getting ready to hear this lovely jingle back again. That's real talk.
And for one last time, you've been watching the NBA on NBC.
One last time, my ass. One last time in a couple of decades. We'll see you soon. Man, here goes soon. if I forget his name. I think his first name is Bob. But if that reporter is still alive for this upcoming season, he needs to be the one saying welcome back to NBA on NBC. That'll just be the full circle moment for real. That'll make so many older NBA fans much more happy and appreciative that NBA on NBC is back. I'll give them that for sure. Anyways.
Starting from the 2003 season, following several missed calls on late game shots in 2002,
that shot was off in plenty of time.
Yo.
No question
we talked about this in the video too.
Right away waved it off.
The NBA instituted new rules regarding the end of period indicators.
Yeah, we talked about that in the other video about the worst ejections. We talked about that too, bro. For real.
An LED light strip on the backboard and on the scorer's table replaced the traditional electric red light behind the backboard. And a shot clock visible to all three viewable sides was mandated. In the draft, Yao Ming was selected with the first overall pick, which popularized the league in Asia and brought millions of new fans to the NBA, as well as hundreds of Chinese reporters who flocked in and covered Yao's every step in America. Amari Stoudemire, Carlos Boozer, Caron Butler, and Tayshaun Prince were also selected in what was another weak draft class, with only 4 players eventually becoming All-Stars.
Facts. And I learned that Stat was the Rookie of the Year over Yao Ming, which is crazy, but it made sense. Yao was still trying to figure out NBA basketball. You feel me? It wasn't like the physicality in the NBA is way different than what it was in China, bro. Do your homework. I did the video on Yao Ming. Do your homework.
But Yao became a sensation first after he made Charles Barkley kiss a donkey on national TV.
Yeah.
And then after he blocked Shaq 3 times in a row when the Rockets first played the Lakers.
Give me that.
Ming became the first rookie to start in the All-Star game. since Grant Hill in 1995, receiving more than 250,000 votes more than Shaq.
That's
For
crazy.
the season, Yao averaged 13 points and 8 rebounds, finishing second in the Rookie of the Year behind Stoudemire. Gilbert Arenas was named the most improved player. Duncan repeated as MVP, just like Ben Wallace, who won another Defensive Player of the Year award. Greg Popovich was named Coach of the Year after the Spurs won 60 games and had the best regular season in the NBA.
Facts.
The East was even worse than the year before, with Detroit securing the best record in the conference with only 50 wins. On January 7th, 2003, Kobe Bryant made 9 consecutive three-pointers and finished with 12 overall, setting a new NBA record for the most threes in a game, later tied by Danielle Marshall and broken by Steph Curry with 13 threes. Kobe also scored 40 points in 9 straight games, including a pair of 50-point games, which was the second best streak of 40-point games. Trailing only Wilt Chamberlain, who had 14 straight games with 40 or more. At the 2003 All-Star Game, everything was set up to honor Michael Jordan, who announced that this would be his final NBA season. Vince Carter gave up his starting spot to MJ, while Mariah Carey, dressed in a Jordan-inspired dress, made one of the most memorable performances in the history of All-Star halftime shows. The All-Star Game itself was the first and only All-Star Game to be decided in double
overtime, and Michael has the ball. The fadeaway.
with the West eventually winning 155 to 145 and Kevin Garnett winning the MVP. But even more memorable than the game itself was one of the most legendary trash-talking exchanges between the two best shooting guards in the history of the game.
That's a foul all day long. Oh, I know you ain't talking. I know you ain't talking. Hey, you only got 3 now. I get 6. I know where you're going. You gotta get up quick. If you knew where I was going, why you go from the face? Mike, after you fake the ball, where else you going? You left your feet. Yeah, but where else you gonna go? In the game, I go for you. I spun all the way around. I go for these ribs right here.
At the trade deadline, the biggest move of the season was when the Bucks traded Ray Allen to Seattle. For Desmond Mason and Gary Payton. Only 4 teams averaged more than 100 points in the regular season, and the average point total across the league was 95, the 11th worst scoring
KKG?
Despite stingy defenses, snail-like pace, and the rules allowing strong contact, Tracy McGrady led the league in scoring with 32.5 points per game, which is the equivalent of someone averaging 40 in the modern era, because the league averaged 9 fewer shots per game and 23 fewer three-pointers in 2003 compared with 2025.
Brandon Miller.
Inside the NBA was becoming a sensation and must-see TV, because other than the donkey gag, the national audience was glued to their television to watch Barkley trying to lose weight and other skits, like the Champions Club and many others.
Little wild woman to watch. There's a clock on the stove.
Nah. See, this is why we're going to miss Inside the NBA, man. Damn. I mean, they still going to be on TV, but it ain't the same, bro.
Video games like NBA Live 2003.
Bro. NBA Live was greater than NBA 2K once upon a time. If y'all ain't know that. For the people that are new to basketball games in general. Bro, then there was NBA Street. They need to bring that back. With today's players, that'll be so fucking tough. Oh my goodness. Same with NFL Street and MLB Street if they have one, for real. But the best NBA Live is 2005 with Carmelo Anthony on the cover. Them folks had a 3-point shootout, dunk contest, skills challenge, all-star game, all type of stuff on that mode, bruh. Soundtrack was lit. Bro, what a time to be alive, bro, for real, though.
And 2K were also becoming very successful, further increasing the popularity of the league, with the NBA becoming more global than ever before. In the first round of the playoffs, the Utah Jazz lost to the Kings in 5 games, with John Stockton playing the last game of his career, thus breaking the 18-year partnership with Karl Malone. San Antonio defeated the Lakers in the second round, ending their streak of 13 consecutive playoff series wins.
How much harder will you work in this offseason now to get back to the championship?
I'll push myself to exhaustion.
In the conference finals, the Spurs then defeated the Mavs to reach their second NBA Finals, where they played against the New Jersey Nets, who came out of East after sweeping Detroit in the ECF. The 2003 Finals reached a new low in television ratings, replacing the 1981 series as the least-watched finals ever. It was also one of the lowest-scoring finals of all time, where the Nets averaged just 82 points per game, while the Spurs averaged 87.
I get it, though. I get it. It sucks, but I get it.
A series that was tied after 4 games. But then Tim Duncan took over, and in the deciding Game 6, he posted an unreal stat line.
Quadruple double almost, right?
20 rebounds, 10 assists, and 8 blocks.
Yeah.
To lead the Spurs to another title, winning the second Finals MVP.
That was crazy, bro. If he would have got 2 more blocks, bro, that would have been the craziest. Probably is still the craziest stat line to win the Finals. Giannis had the 50-point the game versus the Suns when he won his chip, but like to almost have a quadruple double to win the championship on the championship deciding game, like that's the best stat line. Come on, bro.
After the championship, David Robinson retired, which marked the end of an era of the dominant 90s centers, as Shaq was the only one still playing at a high level. Sean Kemp and Tim Hardaway also played their last season in 2003.
That's real.
However, new hope was on the horizon.
The future.
What's up? I got you in the front. Use the access. To what? Get in and get out.
As the NBA welcomed a promising crop of rookies, led by the high school sensation LeBron James. Wearing a preposterously big white suit, LeBron was the first pick of the 2003 draft, followed by a Serbian wonder kid, Darko Milicic, and the NCAA champion with Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony. Georgia Tech's Chris Bosh was picked 4th, and Dwayne Wade from Marquette was the 5th pick. In one of the most talent-rich draft classes of all time, future All-Stars Chris Kaman, Josh Howard, David West, Mo Williams, and Kyle Korver were also selected, just like some great role players like Kirk Heinrich, Kendrick Perkins, and Zaza Pachulia.
I didn't know Big Perk was in the 03 draft. What? And fuck Zaza Pachulia, bitch ass. Don't nobody like that nigga no more, man. Lame ass nigga. My bad.
The start of the season, Karl Malone and Gary Payton took major pay cuts to leave their teams and join Kobe and Shaq on the Lakers for a chance at a possible NBA title. 2004 was one of the most tumultuous seasons in Lakers history, starting with Kobe Bryant's court case.
A preliminary hearing is underway in Colorado to determine whether there's enough evidence to put Kobe Bryant on trial,
which caused him to fly to Colorado multiple times during the season. And even though the case was later dismissed and was settled outside of the court, it caused a major rift between Kobe and Shaq.
Bro, Eagle, Colorado, bro. I've been inside that courtroom. I'm not happy about that, but I can relate, Kobe. Not on the trial. Let me really specify what Kobe went through in that courthouse. I didn't go through in that courthouse. You understand? What I went through was something way lighter than that. Okay. But yeah, I just know what that courtroom looks like. That's all I'm saying.
Who nearly got into a fist fight during the season and were trading media insults seemingly every day.
Doesn't matter what I think about him as a person. When I was out there on the court doing my job, I played team ball. You know, you used to get mad at me for not playing team basketball. I used to get mad at me because he wasn't in tip-top shape.
More than 50% of the league changed coaches before and during the season, which set a new NBA record with 18 coaching changes in total.
Damn.
Grady led the NBA in scoring once again, but he became the first scoring leader since Bernard King in 1985, whose team did not make the playoffs. LeBron James won the East Rookie of the Month every month of the season.
Of course.
And Carmelo Anthony did the same for the Western Conference.
Of course.
Becoming just the 3rd and 4th player with that accomplishment.
Yeah.
After David Robinson and Tim Duncan. LeBron was named Rookie of the Year over Anthony, despite Melo making the playoffs and James not. Ron Artest won the Defensive Player of the Year award, helping the Pacers win a league-leading 61 games. Detroit traded for Rasheed Wallace, who instantly meshed with the scrappy Pistons squad, making them title contenders. Kevin Garnett was the MVP, receiving all but 3 first-place votes, after he averaged 24 points.
Who were the other?
The MVP, receiving all but 3 first-place votes.
Jermaine O'Neal and Peja Stojakovic? Why not Tim?
After he averaged 24 points, a league-leading 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 2.2 blocks, in what was one of the best all-around basketball seasons of all time.
Who's the best player in the NBA?
KG.
Tell me what is it about the game that makes him the best player in the NBA?
It's every year he gets better.
Right.
Every year. And to be a 7-footer and to be able to handle the rock, pass the ball, to score, the man averaged 24, 15, and 5. Woo!
For the first time in 21 years, the Portland Trailblazers didn't make the playoffs.
crazy to hear the glaze back then, and then that turns into rivalries in the next decade. But nah, that is facts about the Blazers, though.
For the first time in 21 years, the Portland Trail Blazers didn't make the playoffs, which was the second longest playoff streak in NBA history. Similarly, the Utah Jazz missed the playoffs for the first time in 20 years after the departure of Stockton and Malone. On the positive side, the Memphis Grizzlies had their first winning season in franchise history, qualifying for the playoffs for the first time.
There you go.
Largely thanks to the great play of Pau Gasol. The Grizzlies got swept by the Spurs in the first round. Of course. 7 out of 8 series ended in 4 or 5 games. Until the conference finals, there were no major surprises, since the teams with the best records made the Final Four. In the West, the Lakers defeated the MVP Garnett and the Timberwolves, who played without an injured Sam Cassell, who hurt his groin while doing his trademark big balls dance. In the East, the Pistons defeated the Pacers in the most defensive-minded series in NBA history, where Detroit averaged 75 and Indiana just 72 points per game, which prompted the NBA to implement rule changes the following offseason in order to make it easier for offenses moving forward.
Give me that.
The world expected the Lakers to win another title. In Game 1, Shaq dominated with 34 points on 13 for 16 shooting, as the Pistons chose not to double-team him and guard him exclusively with a 6'9" Ben Wallace. But because they weren't used to playing without their biggest advantage, getting open shots and cuts from O'Neal getting doubled, the rest of the Lakers struggled, especially Kobe. Bryant shot just 10 for 27, while the rest of the Lakers scored just 16 points total, and the Pistons won 87-75. The Lakers bounced back in Game 2 with 62 combined points from Bryant and O'Neal, but that would be their final win in the series. Detroit killed the Lakers with their full-court defense, and they forced Bryant into taking tough shots, and Kobe got baited in, taking 23 shots per game, but making just 38%, and a horrible 17% from 3.
Damn.
Because of an injury to Karl Malone and a disastrous series for Gary Payton, the Lakers had no chance, and Detroit won the championship 4-1, with Chauncey Billups as the Finals MVP.
I just wish the Pistons made the better decision of drafting Melo instead of Darko Milicic, because all Melo was missing for his career is a ring. And he could have got it early with Detroit, bro. Crazy.
After the season ended with a loss, the feud between Shaq and Kobe reached a boiling point, and Bryant swore he'd never play with Shaq again. Kobe wanted to get traded to the Bulls, and he even began searching for homes in Chicago.
We're actually looking for homes in Chicago. Researching schools, places to live. I got a phone call, Rob Pelinka called. And he said, Shaq just requested a trade. It's like, well, there goes Chicago. There's no way the Lakers are going to lose me and Shaq in the same year.
When the news hit.
The major headline around the league tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers and Miami Heat have agreed to a trade that will send Shaquille O'Neal, one of the greatest big men of all time, to sunny South Florida.
Not willing to lose both superstars, the Lakers gave Kobe a new contract. Shaq was now in Miami. Phil Jackson resigned, while Karl Malone retired, not able to win a championship, despite reaching 3 NBA Finals.
That's crazy. But going back to the Kobe and Shaq thing, I'm glad they were able to talk it out for real, bro, before Kobe passed. Because imagine if that conversation was never a thing and Kobe still unfortunately passed away. You know? That would have been sad as hell, bro. Shaq would have regretted that moment for the rest of his days, bro. He would be punching himself, scared to go to sleep sometimes, bro. I can imagine that. But I'm just glad that they had that conversation and they chose to televise it for the world to witness it. I'm grateful for that. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Scottie Pippen, Glenn Rice, Charles Oakley, Mark Jackson, Jamal Mashburn, and Horace Grant also retired after the 2004 season, just like the legendary coach Hubie Brown. In the 2004 offseason, Team USA played at the Athens Olympics, where NBA players lost an Olympic game for the first time. The team, led by Larry Brown, lost a total of 3 games, winning only the bronze medal, while Argentina, led by Manu Ginobili, claimed gold.
Yeah, that was crazy, bro. So many people was sad as hell about that, I remember. That was crazy.
2004-2005 season brought the last expansion team to the league, as the NBA now had 30 teams, the most in its history. After the Hornets relocated to New Orleans, Charlotte got a new franchise, which they named the Bobcats. As a result of their entry, the NBA changed its divisions for the first time, separating the league into 6 divisions of 5 teams. The new schedule also made a debut, with teams now playing 4 games against divisional opponents, 3 or 4 games against other teams in the conference, and 2 games against the opposing conference. Vince Carter forced a trade from Toronto in the most gruesome way, dragging his behind on the floor, averaging just 16 points per game, and barely playing defense. When the Raptors finally traded him to the Nets, they received 10 cents on the dollar. When the Raptors finally traded him to the Nets, they received 10 cents.
Wow. 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 I did not know Alonzo Mourning was a part of this trade. So Vince Carter went to New Jersey. The Raptors got 2 first-round picks, Alonzo Mourning, Eric Williams, and Aaron Williams. That's crazy.
Cents on the dollar because of Carter's declining play and bad attitude.
It is not a surprise at all that Vince Carter has been traded. What is a bit surprising is who Rob Babcock traded him to and what he got in return.
But as soon as he landed in New Jersey, Vinsanity was back, as Carter averaged 27 points per game with the Nets, which was a slap in the face for all the Raptors fans.
For real.
Mark Cuban didn't want to pay a big contract to Steve Nash, so he left the Mavericks and signed with the Suns as a free agent, where he would lead the offense that got nicknamed 7 seconds or less.
I know he regrets it. He admitted it.
Paired with coach Mike D'Antoni, who wanted the Suns to score early in the shot clock.
Oh my goodness, the dime. But you know, this Phoenix Suns team is the reason. It was the seed that was planted in the ground. And now we see that style of play dominate this era, this current era of basketball. For real, for real.
Seconds or less. Paired with coach Mike D'Antoni, who
but look
wanted
at this
the Suns
dime.
to score early in the shot clock and shoot a lot of threes. Phoenix won 3 more games than the previous year, resulting in an MVP award for Nash and a Coach of the Year award for D'Antoni.
Hell
the
yeah.
MVP race was one of the closest of all time, with Nash receiving just 34 more points than the second place Shaquille O'Neal, resulting in Shaq complaining about this for decades.
Was he true MVP or was he a sympathy MVP? No, he was a true MVP. Over me? Twice? Oh, get out of here. He got 2, I got 1, Kobe got 1. Something wrong with that picture.
Come on, come see, this is the Shaq that a lot of people don't appreciate. Like, stop being such a crybaby, man. You're already the most dominant big man of all time, and you have 3 Finals MVPs. Like, bro, 4 rings. Be thankful you got 1. Nigga, now I get it. One of those years you could have got 1 extra. I get it. But damn, you ain't got to hit below the gut with that comment. Talking about Steve got 2, me and Kobe got 1. That picture don't look right. Like, come on, bro.
Tracy McGrady left the Magic and signed with the Houston Rockets, teaming up with Yao, and in a December game against the Spurs, T-Mac scored 13 points in the final 35 seconds.
Yeah.
Foul is picked up. Yes. McGrady overflowing for 3. Yes.
Leading his team to an 81-80 victory after they trailed 76-68 with 42 seconds remaining. But the biggest news of the season happened on November 19th.
Malice in the Palace
played an away game in Detroit in the Palace of Auburn Hills in what became the ugliest scene in NBA history. Towards the end of the game, a fight broke out between Ben Wallace and Ron Artest, after which Artest decided to lie on the scorer's table to calm down. But then, a very precise fan hit Artest with a beer, and that's when all hell broke loose. Artest and Steven Jackson ended up fighting various fans in the stand, in a melee that will forever be known as the Malice at the Palace. This resulted in record-breaking suspensions, with Artest getting suspended for 73 games. Jackson for 30, Jermaine O'Neal for 15, and 6 other players getting suspended for a total of 15 games. After the incident, the NBA overhauled its security policy and took a much harder stance regarding the on-court fights. And that's why players today get texts for even the smallest skirmishes. At the trade deadline, Chris Webber got traded from the Kings to the Sixers. And even though Sacramento made the playoffs without C-Web, it would be their last playoff appearance in the next 16 years, which set a record for the longest playoff drought in NBA history. Allen Iverson won his 4th and final scoring title, averaging 30.7 points per game, and he was also the MVP of the All-Star game. Andrei Kirilenko led the NBA in blocks with 3.3 rejections per game, becoming the shortest and the lightest player with that accomplishment, since all the other players who led the league in blocks before Kirilenko were centers. Emeka Okafor won the Rookie of the Year ahead of Ben Gordon and Dwight Howard, who was the first overall pick. Dwight became the youngest player to average a double-double, the youngest player to average 10 rebounds in a season, and the youngest to record at least 20 rebounds in a game. Andre Iguodala, Luol Deng, Sean Livingston, Tony Allen, and J.R. Smith were also drafted this year, as well as Kim Kardashian's second husband. Ben Gordon became the first.
Josh Smith. I actually met Chris Humphries in Vail, Colorado. No, he wasn't around any of the Kardashians, but it was, I guess, him and family. But, I mean, I'm not a starstruck person, bro. Like, a celebrity is still a human being at the end of the day. They're just a celebrity. You know, they have a title. They're well known than the average person, you know? So, yeah, you see him. I see him, excuse me. I'm like, hey, you know, or, oh, you're Chris Humphries. Nice to meet you, man. Great career. Or, damn, you bagged Kim K. Whatever, you know what I mean?
First and only rookie in league history to win the 6th Man of the Year award, while Ben Wallace
What?
Also drafted this year, as well as Kim Kardashian's second husband. Ben Gordon became the first and only rookie in league history to win the 6th Man of the Year.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay, Ben Gordon. That's good. That's good shit. I didn't know that.
Award, while Ben Wallace won his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year. In the playoffs, Phoenix, who had the best regular season record, easily swept the Grizzlies and then defeated the Mavericks in the 2nd round, proving that Cuban was wrong for letting Nash go.
And for the first time in 12 years, the Phoenix Suns go to the Western Conference Finals.
But in the conference finals, Tim Duncan and the Spurs were too strong, defeating the Suns in 5 games, despite Amari Stoudemire averaging 37 points per game.
Damn! And y'all still lost? Oh my God, I did not remember that, bro. Like, I knew it was a 5-game series, but I didn't know Stat was averaging 37 against these boys. What was Tim averaging? That's the real question. Wow.
In the East, the Pistons defeated their arch nemesis from Indiana in the aftermath of the Malice at the Palace. The last game of that series was the last game ever for the legendary Reggie Miller. In the conference finals, Detroit played Miami, beating D-Wade and Shaq in 7 games to reach the NBA Finals against San Antonio. The finals were a matchup between the 2 best defensive teams in the league, with only 1 game breaking the 100-point mark. In Game 5, Robert Horry proved his Big Shot Bob nickname once again, hitting another game-winning three. However, the Pistons bounced back in Game 6, forcing a Game 7, which was the first final since 1994 that went to Game 7.
Yeah.
Game 7 of the NBA.
That featured Robert Horry. That's crazy.
Final since 1994 that went to Game 7.
That's Robert Horry right there. The last Game 7 was in 1994 at this time. And that was with Robert Horry playing with the Houston Rockets. Now he's playing on another Texas team in a Game 7. Bro, that is a mind fuck. Wow. That's cool as hell, though.
Yeah.
Welcome to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. The last 2 champs collide here for all the marbles.
But then, the best player in the series
Timmy
made the difference. Tim Duncan finished the deciding game with 25 points and 11 rebounds, leading the Spurs to their third championship and winning his third Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Legendary championship coach Rudy Tomjanovich retired after coaching the Lakers for one season, and Phil Jackson returned to coach Kobe after a one-year hiatus. Latrell Sprewell declined a 3-year, $21 million contract offer from the Timberwolves, with the famous saying that he has a family to feed. But the problem was that no other team wanted to deal with his temper. So the 2005 season was Spree's last in the NBA. Allen Houston, Glenn Robinson, Christian Laettner, Steve Smith, Sean Bradley, and Vlade Divac also retired.
We gotta run that back.
Declined a 3-year, $21 million contract.
3-year, $21 million, bro. 3 years, $21 million, bro. And you declined $21 million because you said you got a family to feed. I don't know, Sprewell. I don't know what family needs more than $21 million to be fed. You know what I mean? Like, that's why you don't need to be greedy, folks. Because watch what he say here.
Offer from the Timberwolves, with the famous saying that he has a family to feed.
What
But
is?
the problem was that no other team wanted to deal with his temper. So the 2005 season was Spree's last in the NBA. Allen Houston, Glenn Robinson, Christian Laettner, Steve Smith, Sean Bradley, and Vlade Divac also retired.
And that's what his ass get.
In the 2005 offseason, Commissioner David Stern wanted to clean up the league and make it more corporate, never wanting to witness anything resembling the malice at the Palace ever again. The first order of business was the infamous dress code, which was heavily protested by players like Allen Iverson, who felt he was a direct cause of the rule, since he was the one who popularized baggy hip-hop style clothes to the NBA.
Facts.
They started the NBA dress code because of you. I know it.
Players must dress in business casual attire during any team or league business.
The second, and far more important rule change, was requiring American players to be at least 1 year removed from high school graduation, and at least 19 years old to be eligible for the NBA draft. The league felt that high school players were too immature to play in the NBA straight away, so the 2005 draft was the last one featuring high school players. Australian center Andrew Bogut was selected first overall, Darren Williams was picked third, and Chris Paul fourth. Andrew Bynum, Danny Granger, Nate Robinson, Monte Ellis, David Lee, and Lou Williams were also selected. Due to the damages caused by Hurricane Katrina, the New Orleans Hornets played most of their regular season games in Oklahoma City, moving back to New Orleans for the last 3 games of the season. Scottie Pippen with the Bulls, Karl Malone with the Jazz, and Reggie Miller with the Pacers had their numbers retired by their respective franchises. The Los Angeles Lakers and Minnesota Timberwolves wore a patch on their jerseys in memory of George Mikan, who died on June 1st, 2005 at the age of 80. On January 22nd, 2006, the world witnessed the second greatest scoring game ever, when Kobe Bryant
81
won on the Toronto Raptors.
An 81-point game.
In the All-Star game, the East defeated the West, with LeBron James becoming the youngest MVP ever at 21 years and 51 days old. In the dunk contest, the 5'9" Nate Robinson became the second shortest player to win the contest, after 5'7" Spud Webb, who won it in 1986.
Facts.
On the last day of the regular season, Ray Allen broke the single-season record for most three-pointers at 269. Breaking Dennis Scott's previous record of 267 threes that stood for 10 years. Kobe won his first scoring title after averaging 35.4 points per game on an awful Lakers team. Garnett led the league in rebounds for the 3rd straight year, while Steve Nash was once again the assist leader. Ben Wallace won his 4th DPOY award, tying the NBA record previously held by Dikembe Mutombo. Boris Diaw was the most improved player, while Chris Paul won the Rookie of the Year.
Dude, I'm not a rookie anymore. I shouldn't be doing all of this.
Wait, I thought you were Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Right, Rookie of the Year.
Being 1 vote shy of winning it unanimously. And despite winning fewer games than the previous year, Steve Nash repeated as the league MVP, ahead of LeBron James and Dirk Nowitzki. Coach of the Year was Avery Johnson from the Dallas Mavericks. The Spurs and the Pistons were the only 60-win teams winning their respective conferences. And all 5 teams in the Central Division made the playoffs, marking the first time all teams in the division made the playoffs since the entire Midwest Division made it in 1986. The Los Angeles Clippers made it back to the playoffs for the first time since 1997 and won their first playoff series since 1976, when they were still known as the Buffalo Braves. In the second round of the Western Conference, the Mavericks finally defeated the Spurs in the playoffs, despite 32 points per game from Tim Duncan, 21 from Ginobili, and 20 from Tony Parker. Phoenix was down 3-1 in the series against the Lakers. Even with Kobe's game winner in Game 4.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
And the 50 points Bryant scored in Game 6, the Suns still won the series in 7 games.
Bro, that was a crazy series. That game particularly where Bryant hit the elbow jumper for the win, bro, and had this fist pump like this, bro. It was a Sunday game. I remember coming home from church. I just finished eating. Me and my mom, we would watch games, bro. I would talk my mom into all this basketball stuff, bro. Just putting her down on all the basketball stuff I knew. And then when I saw Bryant for the win, yes, bang, bang, by Mike Breen. Bro, that fist pump is everything, bro. No cap.
In the conference finals, Dallas avenged the loss to the Suns, who played without the injured Stoudemire, beating Phoenix 4-2 to reach their first ever NBA Finals. In the East, LeBron made the playoffs for the first time, beating Gilbert Arenas and the Wizards with the famously missed clutch free throws by Agent Zero.
Now, remember, that's the reason. Look at Gilbert's face as Bron is touching that boy's shoulder like, hey, bro. You missed this one. It's over with, bro.
Famously missed clutch free throws.
It's over with, bro. You missed this, bro.
And the subsequent game-winning shot by David Jones, whom Arenas trash-talked the whole series over a gambling debt.
That was crazy. I remember that story. That was crazy.
But in the second round, the Cavs lost to the Pistons in 7 games, who would then go on to lose to Miami in 6 games in the conference finals. And it seemed like the finals were a wrap after Dallas won the first 2 games and had a 13-point lead midway through.
That one flashed. What the fuck up?
Dwayne Wade took over, scoring 15 points in the final period and finishing with 42 points in a 98-96 win.
Give me that.
And the Heat survives. And by Wade.
The Flash followed it up by 36 points in Game 4, tying the series. And in Game 5, he scored 43, including the game-winning free throws to secure a 1-point victory. Finally, in Game 6, Wade was spectacular once more, hitting one tough shot after another, scoring 36 points and leading Miami to their first ever NBA title. Wade's 34.7 points per game was the 9th best scoring average ever in the finals, but it was clouded with controversy, as many fans argued he received too many favorable foul calls. Mark Cuban, the Mavericks owner, was livid and had to pay $250,000 for criticizing the referees.
I mean, every good player that will be able to drive and score the basketball, they're going to have their controversies and their time with the referees, if you will. But come on, fam.
After the season, Tony Kukoc, Nick Van Exel, and Vin Baker retired, and so did legendary Celtics coach and executive Red Auerbach, who resigned from his position as the team president after 56 years with the franchise. And just a few months later, on October 28th, Auerbach died at the age of 89, passing away with 16 championship rings to his name, the most in NBA history. But before the 2006-2007 season started, there was another surprise in the draft, which marked the 2nd straight season with a foreign player selected first overall. It was the Italian forward Andrea Bargnani, who was picked by the Raptors in front of LaMarcus Aldridge, who was selected by the Bulls and then immediately traded to Portland. Brandon Roy, Rudy Gay, JJ Redick, Rajon Rondo, Kyle Lowry, Paul Millsap, and PJ Tucker were also drafted. The NBA also introduced a new microfiber composite
basketball.
The only constant seemed to be player complaints about it,
citing issues with grip, bounce, and even handcuffs.
The complaint that I've heard from the players is once they start sweating, the ball gets flipped.
And after just 2 months, the league switched back to a leather ball. Adidas became the official outfitter of the NBA and would provide the league with equipment for the next 10 years, until Nike took their place in 2017. Don Nelson was appointed the new coach of the Warriors, while Isaiah Thomas became the new coach of the Knicks, after several years of being the team president, a job he did catastrophically badly. New York finished the 2006 season with the highest payroll and the 2nd worst record in the league. On December 16th, the 2nd biggest brawl of the century ensued in a game between the Knicks and the Nuggets. All 10 players on the court were ejected, with 7 players getting suspended as a result of the incident, the most notable of which was Carmelo Anthony's 15-game suspension, especially because he was the league's leading scorer.
Oh my God. But now Melo did punch the shit out of somebody. He ain't knock him out, but I feel like he was close to it if he would have got a clean hit. But look at this.
Game suspension,
look at this.
Because he was the league's leading scorer at the time. But just 3 days later, the Nuggets provided another huge shock by trading for one of the biggest superstars in the NBA, Allen Iverson.
I say, with me, myself, and Iverson now a Denver Nugget, that team becomes a candidate for a quick and ugly first-round playoff exit. This will not work.
The Sixers legend grew tired of losing, and Philadelphia
grew
tired of his nonchalant approach to the game. So they traded him to Denver for Andre Miller and Joe Smith. The All-Star Game was held in Las Vegas, the first time it was organized in a city without an NBA franchise, with Kobe Bryant winning the game's MVP award and Gerald Green winning the dunk contest. Kobe also switched from number 8 to 24.
I've seen where that you talked about a number change as a new chapter in your life.
Yeah, it's it's about appreciating every moment for me, because we've been through so much, as the career kind of, I'm not an old man, but you start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel is much brighter than the one at the beginning of the tunnel.
And in March of 2007, he turned on God mode. Kobe scored 50 points in 4 consecutive games, a streak trailing only Wilt Chamberlain, who scored 50 in 7 consecutive games. Bryant had 10 games that year where he scored 50+, including 2 games with over 60 points. And for the season, he averaged 31.7 points, winning another scoring title. Jason Kidd and Vince Carter of the New Jersey Nets became only the 10th pair of teammates in NBA history to record triple-doubles in the same game.
It's the first time that teammates in the same game have had a triple-double. You snuck one out tonight, and Jason Kidd also on its free throw since Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen did it in 1989.
That's crazy. KG led the NBA in rebounds for the 4th consecutive season. Nash led the league in assists for the 3rd straight year, and Tim Duncan got ejected for laughing.
Remember this. Hey.
After winning a franchise...
If y'all need to watch my video, bro, if y'all haven't yet, for the worst calls in NBA history or worst ejections, bro. Please watch that video, bro, because a lot of this shit happened during that time.
Record 67 games, the Dallas Mavericks superstar Dirk Nowitzki won the MVP award, becoming the first European-born player to win the award. Brandon Roy was 1 vote shy of winning the Rookie of the Year.
You gotta say after he got beat in the first round now. Yeah, Brandon Roy with the Rookie of the Year, bro.
Unanimously, and Denver's Marcus Camby was the Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
He led the NBA in blocks for the 2nd straight year.
Give me that.
Monte Ellis was the most improved player.
You know that we get memos from the league from time to time, and they're usually quite serious. This one is really serious. Monte Ellis has been named NBA Player of the Week.
All the 6
men was like, what? What'd I do?
Leandro Barbosa, the Brazilian Blur. Phoenix and...
Hey, Casanat, favorite player. What about him?
The NBA Player of the Week.
All the 6th Man of the Year went to Phoenix's Leandro Barbosa, the Brazilian Blur.
6th Man of the Year, yes, sir. But yeah, this is Casanat's favorite player of all time. Crazy.
Phoenix and Dallas both had 17-game win streaks for the season and were the only teams with over 60 wins. In the East, which was traditionally worse than the West, the Pistons had the best record with only 53 wins, while LeBron's Cavs were the only other 50-win team in the conference. But when the playoffs started, the Golden State Warriors provided the biggest surprise of the decade.
Here we go.
We believe the Warriors, who were the 8th seed, defeated the 67-win Dallas in 6 games, with Dirk Nowitzki playing arguably the worst series of his career. It was only the 3rd time ever that the 8th seed defeated the 1st, and the first time it happened in a 7-game series.
There we go. I was just a little bit too early to the party. My bad.
After his season ended, Dirk was depressed, and he spent several weeks in Australia with his mentor, Holger Geschwinder, to get back to his senses. The Suns also left the playoffs prematurely. After they beat Kobe and the Lakers in the first round again, they lost in the 2nd round to San Antonio in a very controversial series. The controversy stemmed from Amari Stoudemire and Boris Diaw getting suspended for a game after they entered the court off the bench following a hard foul on Steve Nash.
And the coach is sending he and Boris Diaw back to that bench area. The question is, were they on the court or not?
The Spurs then defeated the Jazz in 5 games to qualify for their 4th NBA Finals. But in the East, it was much more interesting. 2 of the best teams of the regular season, the Cavs and the Pistons, met in the conference finals, with home teams winning every game up to Game 4. Then, in Game 5, we witnessed one
LeBron
of the
woke
greatest
up.
performances of all time.
Yes.
After LeBron James scored 29 out of Cleveland's 30 points in the fourth quarter and 2 overtimes, hitting 11 for 15 shots during that stretch, finishing the game with 48 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, leading the Cavs to a 109-107 victory.
Look at that.
In Game 6, the Cavs finished the job at home, making their first trip to the NBA Finals.
I didn't think I was going to hit it right on the Oh, man, I love seeing faces of just like pure stunned expressions on people's faces, bro. I love seeing that shit.
7 victory. And in Game 6, the Cavs finished the job at home, making their first trip to the NBA Finals. However, to be able to win the title, you need help. And despite being the best player in the series, LeBron couldn't rely on anybody on the Cavs to provide any sort of scoring push. Even though the series was closer than a 4-0 result would suggest, with 2 games decided in the final seconds, the Spurs were the deserving champions. And Tony Parker became the first European player to win the Finals MVP. After the 2007 season, Hall of Famer Gary Payton retired, just like Jalen Rose, Doug Christie, and Kevin Willis, who retired at the age of 44, as the second oldest player to ever play in the NBA.
44 years, 7 months, 7 days.
And while the world will remember the year 2007 by Madeleine McCann, whose disappearance was followed globally, or the 8.0 earthquake in Peru, and
do y'all know about Madeleine McCann? I don't really know about that story, bro. I knew about the Peru earthquake, but I didn't know about the Madeleine McCann situation.
McCann, whose disappearance was followed globally, or the 8.0 earthquake in Peru, and the launch of the first iPhone, the NBA world will remember the year 2007 by trades, as some of the biggest names in the NBA changed teams. After spending 12 seasons with the Timberwolves, Kevin Garnett was traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for 7 players.
Damn, hold on, no. KG, Boston. Timberwolves get Al Jefferson, Joe Green, Ryan Gomes, Theo Ratliff, Sebastian Telfair, 2 first-round picks, bro. And one of them draft picks was used to draft Johnny Flynn over Wardell. But that's another day for another story. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Players, the largest trade in NBA history for one player. He was soon joined by Ray Allen, who was traded by the Supersonics with Glenn Davis to the Celtics in exchange for Jeff Green, Wally Szczerbiak, Delonte West, and a second-round pick.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
We're not done. We have roster spots to fill. We think we can continue to improve our roster. We don't think that these 3 guys alone can win a championship.
The Celtics also added James
Posey,
and mid-season they traded for Sam Cassell, thus forming the strongest team they had since the Larry Bird era. Derek Fisher returned to the Lakers as a free agent, and LA also traded for Trevor Ariza, but those would end up being minor moves compared to what they did on February 1st, 2008. It was viewed as the steal of the century when the Lakers traded Kwame Brown, Javaris Crittenden, the rights to Marc Gasol, who still played in Spain, and Aaron McKee
for Pau Gasol. Yes. This trade right here put LA back on the map. My bad, my camera all in the way and shit, but yes, bro.
Who was retired at the time, plus 2 picks for Pau Gasol, one of the best big men in the game. Even though the younger Gasol would end up being a Grizzlies legend, thus making this trade a win-win, at the time, it looked like the Lakers committed highway robbery.
The Los Angeles Lakers knew exactly what they were doing. They should be celebrating right now, and Kobe Bryant should not be saying a word.
When Mitch Kupchak came to you and said something like, I can get you Pau Gasol for Kwame Brown, what did you say back?
No, you can't. But
and the Spurs coach, Greg Popovich, openly protested about it, saying that there should be some kind of committee to veto ridiculous trades like this one.
Oh, there is a ridiculous committee because, to be fair, it was really supposed to be Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant playing with the Lakers. To be fucking fair, you feel me? But David Stern, the the committee of veto, the committee, you feel me, to veto all this dumb shit. David Stern did that. He wasn't going to do this for Pau Gasol. Now, at that point, he would just be hating on the LA Lakers at that point, bro.
And 5 days after Powell became a Laker, the Miami Heat traded Shaquille O'Neal to the Phoenix Suns for Marcus Banks and Sean Marion.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Marcus Banks, though. That's crazy.
It was a huge mistake by the Suns' GM Steve Kerr, who essentially traded away the team's style of play.
Yes.
The Suns couldn't play fast anymore with Shaq on board.
Right,
the Mavericks were also busy, trading 5 players and 2 first-round picks to the New Jersey Nets in exchange for Jason Kidd, Malik Allen, and Antoine Wright. The Cavs made big moves too, trying to give some sort of help to LeBron, trading for Ben Wallace in a big 3-team trade that saw 10 players change addresses.
Damn. Okay, let me see if I can name everybody. Of course, that's Ben Wallace. I think that, yeah, this is Larry Hughes on the far right. Damn, my camera. Drew Gooden. I don't even know. I ain't even finna guess. Danielle Marshall, Shannon Brown. I don't know. Wally Zerbiak, Delonte West, Joe Smith, and Adrian Griffin. That's crazy.
Apart from trades, the NBA draft was also super interesting,
KD,
with the major
Mike
doubt
Conley,
regarding the
Corey
top
Brewer,
overall pick.
Joakim
Greg
Noah,
Oden was
Greg
the best
Oden.
collegiate center, but had injury problems with his knees.
Yes.
And Kevin Durant was the best scorer in the country, but was skinny as a stick and couldn't bench 185 one time at the NBA Combine. The Portland Trailblazers had the first pick, and they
That's fucked up.
selected wrong.
The Portland Trailblazers select Greg Oden from Ohio State University,
who would miss the entire season and only play 82 games for the franchise due to various knee injuries. So the Seattle Supersonics got Durant, who was picked second ahead of Al Horford, Mike Conley, and Jeff Green.
Yeah.
Other notable players selected include Joakim Noah, Nick Young, and
Yeah,
Marcus Gasol,
yeah.
who was the 48th overall pick. But despite getting one of the best players of all time, the fans in Seattle had little to be happy about, because on November 2nd, 2007, it became official that the franchise would relocate to Oklahoma City.
U.S. District Judge Marsha Peckman was expected to issue her decision about whether the Sonics would have to stay in Seattle for 2 more years. Then exactly 1 hour later, the news was made public.
The NBA will be in Oklahoma City next season.
Speaking of OKC, the Hornets weren't playing there anymore, permanently moving back to New Orleans after splitting time between 2 cities for several years due to the damages caused by Hurricane Katrina. New Orleans was also the host of the All-Star Game, with the East winning 134-128 and Cleveland's LeBron James being named the MVP for the second.
That shit crazy though, bro. Like, I know Seattle fans are sad, bro. I know they're so sad. And there was talks about expansion coming back, but that got shut down by Adam Silver quickly. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
In time. But the most memorable moment from the weekend was the dunk contest.
Dwight
Howard transformed into Superman, flying through the air, accompanied by the iconic sound bites from Kenny Smith. Steven Jackson and Ron Artest made negative headlines again, each getting suspended for 7 games. Jackson for firing a gun, and Artest for domestic violence. The NBA extended his 8-year television contract with TNT, ABC, and ESPN for $930 million annually. In comparison, the new TV deal running from 2025 until 2036 will be worth nearly $7 billion per year.
Damn. But until 2036, he said?
Deal running from 2025 until 2036 will be worth nearly $7 billion per year.
So in 2036, are we going back to TNT? Or are they going to pull an extension at closer to that time to stay on NBC? Like, what we doing, bro?
Also, this was the first
Rest
year
in peace,
that the
Craig
NBA
Sager.
coaches had to do mandatory interviews
Rest
after
in
the
peace,
first
Craig
and third
Sager,
quarters,
bro.
a segment that was hated by coaches, namely Greg Popovich.
How happy were you with the shot selection, even though they came back?
Happy?
Reasonable.
Happy? Happy's not a word that we think about in a game.
But also something that brought more attention to sideline reporters. Most notably, Craig Sager,
Rest
who
in
became
peace,
an
man.
icon for his sideline reports, wearing some of the flashiest and ugliest suits of all time.
Burn it.
From January 29th until March 18th, the Houston Rockets didn't
me that.
lose a single game, winning 22 in a row, which was the second longest winning streak in NBA history, later surpassed by the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. The Celtics broke the record for the biggest single-season turnaround in NBA history by improving from 24 wins in 2007 to 66 wins in 2008, winning 42 more games. The Hawks
same
made
year
the
they
playoffs
won.
for the first time since 1999,
Yeah.
thus ending a 9-year playoff drought, which was the longest active drought at the time. They qualified for the playoffs after winning just 37 games, which was the lowest number of wins for a playoff team in a 30-team league. A record that was later beaten by the 2022 Pelicans, who made the playoffs with 36 wins. Of course, that wouldn't fly in the West, a traditionally stronger conference, which was arguably stronger than ever in 2008.
Have you ever seen the Western Conference this tough before? No, never.
All 8 teams that made the playoffs in the West won 50 games or more. And the Golden State Warriors, who won 48 games and didn't make the playoffs, with the highest winning percentage of any non-playoff team in NBA history since the switch to the 8-team playoff format.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. All 8 teams winning 50 games is crazy.
During the season, Kobe became the youngest player to reach 20,000 points.
Kobe.
And right there is 20,000.
While LeBron broke his record and became the youngest to reach 10,000.
Yeah, on your head, KG.
Bryant was named the league MVP for the first and only time in his career after he led the Lakers to the best record in the West, averaging 28.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists, and 1.8 steals per game.
Yeah.
KD won Rookie of the Year,
Yeah.
KG the DPOY,
Yeah.
and Manu Ginobili won the Sixth Man of the
Yeah.
Year. LeBron James won his first and only scoring title, averaging 30 points per game. Dwight Howard won his first rebounding title, while Chris Paul led the league in assists and steals. In the playoffs, the Cavs defeated the Wizards in the first round for the 3rd consecutive year. But in the second round, they once again lacked the firepower against a deeper team, losing to the Celtics in 7 games, with LeBron and Paul Pierce providing one of the most fun small forward duels of all time. The Celtics then defeated the Pistons in 6 games to reach their 20th NBA Finals and their first since 1987.
Yeah.
In the West, New Orleans won their first playoff series in franchise history, but would then lose in the second round to the Spurs in 7 games. The Lakers swept the Nuggets, defeated the Jazz in 6, and then in the conference finals got past the Spurs in 5 to reach their 29th NBA Finals. And the finals between the NBA's 2 most successful franchises provided many memorable moments.
It's all about the Lakers and the Celtics!
In Game 1, Paul Pierce got escorted from a game in a wheelchair, only to come back and lead a Celtics comeback.
Nah. Please, are you going to explain it or do I have to?
Paul Pierce coming out of the locker room to score 18 second-half points, and Game 1 is history.
Kobe had the best game of the series in Game 3, scoring
Nah.
36
You're not going to explain it, nigga. Then I will. Paul Pierce had to get wheelchair. This man, he even admitted it, bro. He faked an injury because he had to shit. Literally take a boo-boo in the middle of the game. Like, you couldn't just say, hey, coach, take me out of the game for like 5 minutes. I need to go back real quick, bro. You couldn't just say that. You have to be all dramatic and fake an injury and then come back as Superman. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Paul Pierce got escorted from...
Like, this man really got escorted on a wheelchair because of faking an injury. All because he had to shit, bro. Just, you a grown-ass man pulling off stunts like this, Paul Pierce. Like, grow up, child.
A game in a wheelchair, only to come back and lead a Celtics
He felt much lighter. Whew. All right, who's ready?
Paul Pierce out of the locker room to score 18 second-half
Fucking
points,
bullshit,
and Game
nigga.
1 is history.
Kobe had the best game of the series in Game 3, scoring 36 points as the Lakers won their first home game. But in Game 4, despite a 35-14 lead after the first quarter, which was the largest first quarter lead in NBA Finals history, the Celtics came from the dead, winning the game in what was the largest comeback in the NBA Finals since 1971. In Game 5, Pierce scored 38, but the Lakers won. However, in Game 6, it wasn't even close, with Boston winning 131-92, the largest margin ever in an NBA championship clinching game. Pierce was the Finals MVP, while Kevin Garnett unleashed all his inner demons, stemming from 12 years of frustration in Minnesota, with one of the most famous screams in sports history.
I love it. Bro, y'all gotta watch this whole press conference, bro. Look, if y'all really need a laugh, bro, like if y'all having a bad day and y'all really need a laugh, pull up Kevin Garnett Anything Is Possible interview right where he wins the championship. That shit will have you laughing, bro.
After the finals ended, Shaq made an appearance in a comedy club, rapping about Kobe's loss and asking how his behind tastes, in what was probably the first leaked video of an NBA player.
Crazy.
Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes. Okay, everybody. Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes.
Plenty of legends played their last games in 2008, namely Alonzo Mourning, Chris Webber, Penny Hardaway, Steve Francis, Antoine Walker, Sam Cassell, Sharif Abdur-Rahim.
Yo, that little ass bucket hat. Hold on.
Plenty of legends played their last games in 2008, namely Alonzo Mourning, Chris Webber, Penny Hardaway, Steve Francis, Antoine.
What are we doing with this little ass bucket hat, Antoine Walker?
Walker, Sam Cassell, Sharif Abdur-Rahim, and Robert Horry. Pat Riley also retired from coaching, and in his place, a little-known guy named Eric Spoelstra, who would be the Heat's head coach for the next 17 years, and counting. This was also the last head coaching year for Jeff Van Gundy, who turned to commentating, where he would later form one of the most beloved commentating partnerships with Mark Jackson and Mike Breen.
Yeah.
Hey!
Don't do that.
Oh, goodness. In the summer, Team USA, commonly known as the Redeem Team, won gold at the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, with Kobe Bryant famously shoving Pau Gasol in the chest before...
Yes. Have y'all seen this documentary of the Redeem Team? If not, please watch it, bro. I don't know what streaming platform it's on, but you can watch it on the internet somewhere, bro. It's really that damn good. But yes, there was a real deal conversation about Kobe. Like, you know what? This ain't the NBA. This ain't my teammate. Like, I will run over my teammate. And this is literally
Olympics in Beijing with Kobe.
Bro, this was literally one of the first plays or the first few possessions of the game. Pau Gasol coming to set a screen on Kobe for his teammate right here to get the ball and shoot the three. But Kobe said, "Boy, I don't give a fuck if you Pau Gasol, Shaq."
Bryant famously chest.
Oh, that was Rudy Fernandez. I was shooting the three. Rudy Fernandez. But nah, that's crazy, bro. Kobe was not playing around. Y'all watch that documentary when y'all have a chance.
Before beating Spain in the finals. When the focus returned to the NBA,
chosen one, huh?
8 different teams changed coaches prior to the 2008-2009 season, while 8 others did it during the season. Isaiah Thomas was finally fired from the Knicks job, in a place where he'll forever be hated for the poor performances of the team.
For real.
Supersonics officially ceased to exist on July 2nd, 2008, becoming the Oklahoma City Thunder, who also inherited the Sonics' history, including the 1979 NBA title. Instant replay became a more common occurrence, as the NBA owners approved the expanded use of instant replays to determine if made baskets would be worth 2 or 3 points.
Facts.
With the first pick
D-Rose!
in the 2008 NBA draft,
D-Rose!
the Chicago Bulls select
Derrick Rose was the first pick in the draft by his hometown Chicago Bulls, even though the Bulls had just a 1.7% chance to win the first pick in the lottery. Michael Beasley was drafted second by the Heat, OKC picked Russell Westbrook with the 4th pick, and Kevin Love was selected number 5 by the Timberwolves.
Hey man, a lot of people really been sleeping on my boy Michael Beasley, but I'm glad that he's finally coming around to get his flowers, bro. Mans need his flowers ASAP, bro. That's a future video, just so y'all know. We're going to give our flowers to Michael Beasley for shit show, bro. Like, it's well needed, bro.
Other notable players from the 2008 draft include the Lopez twins, Eric Gordon, Roy Hibbert, JaVale McGee, Serge Ibaka, Mario Chalmers, DeAndre Jordan, and Goran Dragic.
This nigga JaVale McGee head touching the ceiling, bro. What the
JaVale McGee, Serge Ibaka, Mario Chalmers, DeAndre Jordan, and Goran Dragic.
Okay.
The most important trade of the season was Allen Iverson, who was traded from the Nuggets to the Pistons in exchange for Chauncey Billups and Anthony McDyke.
Sheesh. I forgot about this shit too. He did end his career. Nah, he did not end his career here, I don't think. It was Memphis.
Jamal Crawford replaced Golden State with New York, while the Suns kept trading their 7 seconds or less players, moving Boris Diaw and Raja Bell to Charlotte in exchange for Jason Richardson. But the biggest story of 2009 was broken records, as seemingly every month another NBA record got tied. On December 10th, 2008, Carmelo Anthony scored 33 of his season-high 45 points in the third quarter in a win against the Timberwolves, equaling George Gervin's record for most points in a quarter. Chris Paul broke the 22-year-old record for consecutive games with a steal, previously held by Alvin Robertson. With Paul's record ultimately reaching 108 games. On January 13th, the Orlando Magic made an NBA record 23 three-pointers against the Kings, with 9 of the 12 Magic players making at least 1 three-pointer. The record would stand for 15 years, until the Miami Heat made 24 threes in 2024. On February 22nd, 2009, Portland Trailblazers point guard Steve Blake tied an NBA record by recording 14 assists in the first quarter in a game against the Clippers. In the
Damn! In 1 quarter you get 14 dimes? That's tough. People ending the game with 14, but to end a quarter with 14? Damn! Okay, Steve Blake.
2009 All-Star Game, the West won 146-119, with Kobe and Shaq named co-MVPs, and Bryant giving the trophy to Shaq's son, Sharif, in what was one of the most heartwarming moments in All-Star history.
He even let me, take the trophy home today for my boy, so.
In March, the Suns became the first team since the 1990 Portland Trailblazers to have 3 consecutive games of scoring 140 points or more, including the 154-130 win against the Warriors, which was the 3rd highest number of points in a regulation game.
Jason Richardson went off. Matt Barnes went off. Steve Nash had a pretty solid game, almost a triple-double. Monte Ellis went off. Corey Maggette went off. Okay, then.
Shaq led the league in field goal percentage for the 10th time.
Watch your head, Krylenko.
Breaking Wilt Chamberlain's
watch your head now.
Jose Calderon of the Raptors broke the NBA record for free throw percentage of the season, hitting 98.1% from the charity stripe, missing only 3 free throws of the 154 he took that year. The record still stands today and is, without a doubt, one of the hardest NBA records to break.
He has not missed this year. Why?
Cleveland Cavaliers won a franchise record 66 games, resulting in the first MVP award for LeBron James. Derrick Rose won Rookie of the Year. Dwight Howard won his first Defensive Player of the Year, while Jason Terry won the 6th Man of the Year award. Dwayne Wade won the scoring title after averaging 30.2 points per game. Dwight repeated as the rebounding champ. He also led the league in blocks. And Chris Paul was once again the league leader in assists and steals. When the playoffs started, sad news hit the NBA as the legendary coach Chuck Daly died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 78. For the entire playoffs, all NBA coaches and commentators wore pins with the initials CD on their suits to honor the Hall of Fame coach. In the first round of the playoffs, the Nuggets matched the largest margin of victory in an NBA playoff game, beating the Hornets 121-63.
Damn. Oh my gosh. But, I mean, if David West is the lead man with 14, James Posey with 12, Stojakovic with 10, Rasul Butler, rest in peace, with 9, like, how is that going to win against these guys? Melo with 26, Chauncey Billups with 17. My boy Glazer, I forgot about Glazer. He used to be lights out from the corner 3. He had 14. Nene big ass with 12. Come on, bro.
In Game 4. Playing without the often injured Tracy McGrady, the Rockets defeated the Trailblazers in the first round, And in the second round, they provided a valiant effort against the Lakers, finally capitulating in Game 7, despite losing their second superstar Yao Ming to injury in Game 3.
The Lakers, pushed to the brink. No one expected a Game 7 against the Rockets, the chance to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Denver defeated Dirk and the Mavs in the second round to secure their first conference finals since 1985.
Yeah.
But despite the steady leadership of Chauncey Billups and the high scoring of Carmelo Anthony, the Lakers proved too strong, advancing to the NBA Finals after 6 games, with Kobe averaging 34 points per game in the series. In the East, Boston and Chicago played a heroic series, with 4 games
that was a
decided
great
in
series,
overtime.
though.
Playing without Kevin Garnett, who injured his knee late in the season, the Celtics got past the Bulls in 7 games. However, in the second round, Dwight and the Magic had a little more in the tank, defeating the Celtics in another 7-game series.
The world champions are out. No repeat. Again, there hasn't been back-to-back titles since the Laker teams that three-peated back in the early part of the 2000s.
It looked like this was finally going to be a championship season for LeBron and the Cavs, because after they won 66 games in the regular season, the Cavs swept Detroit and Atlanta in the first 2 rounds. But then in the conference finals, the Cavaliers fell flat against Orlando.
Yeah.
Despite LeBron averaging 38, 8, and 8 in the series, including a game winner in Game 2,
Lewis gets it to LeBron for 3 for the win.
Yes!
LeBron James
At the buzzer! Shout out to my boy Marv Albert, man.
The Magic always had someone to step up and hit a big shot, with 5 players scoring in double figures. Orlando won the series in 6, advancing to their second NBA Finals after Shaq lost to Hakeem in 1995. But in the finals, Kobe played the best and most mature basketball of his career, hitting timely shots and knowing when to dish it out to his teammates.
Cash.
Bryant averaged 32.4 points, 5.6 rebounds, 7.4 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.4 blocks to lead the Lakers to their 15th NBA title, defeating the Magic in 5 games. It was also the 10th NBA championship for Phil Jackson, who passed Red Auerbach as the winningest coach of all time.
Yes.
After the season, Dikembe Mutombo retired at the age of 42
Yes.
after playing in the NBA for 18 seasons.
Yes.
It was also the last season for Stephon Marbury, Bettino Mobley, Wally Zerbiak, and Bruce Bowen. And even though the 2000s started poorly from a viewership and financial standpoint following Jordan's retirement and had some of the most gruesome moments of all time, the decade ended on a high, with the league being more popular than ever. It was a wild ride, with some of the most legendary games, moments, press conferences, and screams of all time. And even though some may disagree, the 2000s might be the most interesting decade in NBA history.
The answer is hell no. I don't see it.
Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, we have another one for you.
I say what I said, bro. This is the golden age of basketball, the 2000s, bro. This was so exciting to go through. Oh my gosh, bro. I'm glad I was able to relive some of my childhood memories, bro. I hope some of y'all were able to do that too. Comment your favorite part down below, man. And let me know, should I do a recap of the 90s? Since it's right here on the screen, I was introduced to basketball in the late 90s. So should I recap the video for y'all? Even though I did see the video already, but should I do a reaction for y'all? Let me know in the comments down below, please and thank you. And comment what you remember or your favorite memory of the golden age of the NBA, bro. It's too many memories for me. Off top, Vince Carter with the damn dunk contest. Allen Iverson with the practice. The We Believe Warriors shutting down Dirk. You know what I mean? The Pistons beating the Lakers that caused Kobe and Shaq to separate. So many incredible moments from this era. LeBron being LeBron, the big 3 forming for once. It's a lot of great memories, bro. And sad ones too. So let me know your favorites down in the comments. Don't forget to like it up, and please subscribe. We're on the way to 1,000, so please tap in with your boy. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. You feel me?